Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Nature's Reality YouTube channel. Today we're here to talk about 3 of the most venomous snakes in the world. Before I begin this video, I should clarify that this is by no means a top 3 ranking video, and the snakes we're here to talk about today have not been put in any particular order. One thing about this list that I can say for sure is that all of the snakes on it are highly venomous, and some of the most venomous snakes in the entire world. Now without further ado, let us get started on this list of 3 of the most venomous snakes in the world. The first snake we're here to talk about today is undoubtedly one of the most feared snakes in the entire world. The black mamba. Black mambas are a long, slender species of snake found throughout a vast portion of sub-Saharan Africa, where they inhabit dry environments such as semi-arid savannas, rocky outcrops, woodlands, and scrublands. The name black mamba stems from the coloration of the insides of their mouths, which are dark bluish gray or black in color. Throughout the rest of their bodies, which are incredibly slim, black mambas are anywhere from light gray to dark brown in coloration, with white-grayish underbellies. Young mambas also tend to be a lot paler than older mambas, as they darken with age. Regarding their size, black mambas typically grow to lengths of anywhere from 7 to 10 feet, with the largest of specimens reaching lengths of upwards of 14 feet, which makes the black mamba the largest venomous snake in Africa and the second largest in the world, second only to the king cobra. Due to their slender build and the fact that they don't have to rely on their size to take down prey, they typically weigh very little, being on average about 3.5 pounds. This small size and slender build also helps them to be some of the fastest snakes in the world, slithering at speeds of up to 12.5 miles per hour. Most mambas move at a top speed of around 10 miles per hour, which they are able to achieve for short bursts at a time on suitable surfaces. Notably, black mambas are simultaneously arboreal and terrestrial creatures, meaning that they are both ground-dwelling and tree-dwelling. Being a diurnal species, black mambas are most active during the day, coming out twice a day for periods lasting up to a few hours at a time in order to bask in the sun. When they aren't basking in the sun, they spend most of their time in burrows below ground, or atop the trees. Wherever it is that they choose to inhabit is where they hunt from, lying in wait for an unfortunate victim to cross the path of their lair. In terms of their diet, it is comprised primarily of small mammals and birds which typically weigh no more than a fraction of their body weight. Black mambas are also known to eat other smaller snakes, however, this isn't necessarily a common occurrence. And while they do hold the title of the largest venomous snake in Africa, they still face threat from predators. Brown snake eagles, tawny eagles, and martial eagles are some of the only known animals to prey upon black mambas. Although there have been other snake species documented preying upon black mambas, like the Mozambique spitting cobra. In regards to their conservation status, the IUCN lists the black mamba as a species of least concern with a stable population. Black mambas are renowned for being an extremely aggressive species, however, this is mostly blown greatly out of proportion. While they can be rather aggressive, attacks usually only occur when a snake is cornered or put in an extremely vulnerable position. With that being said, attacks on people do occasionally occur, the majority of which occur in rural Africa. These attacks typically occur during the mating season of the black mamba, from September to February, when the snakes are most easily agitated. As you probably already know, the venom of a black mamba is incredibly potent, and without the administration of antivenom, a bite has a very high chance of proving to be fatal. Thankfully, since the creation of antivenom, the number of fatalities has greatly been reduced, but still there are those who fall victim to a black mamba bite. It is not only the fact that mambas have extremely potent venom which makes them so dangerous, but also the fact that they tend to bite multiple times, injecting more venom with each bite. The venom itself is fast-acting and contains several neurotoxins which help to attack the nervous system. Unlike many other venomous snake bites, the bite of a black mamba does not typically cause swelling or necrosis, and the earliest onset symptom is usually just a tingling sensation. As the venom continues to attack the body, more symptoms like slurred speech and muscle weakness begin to occur. Within only 45 minutes of a bite, a victim can and often will collapse, with fatality occurring anywhere from 7 to 15 hours after the initial envenomation. Next up on our list is a snake hailing from Australia, and one that many revere as the most toxic snake in the entire world, the inland taipan. The inland taipan is a snake endemic to Australia, and hence its name is only found within inland Australia. More specifically, in the black soil plains in the semi-arid regions, primarily where the borders of Queensland and southern Australia meet. The snake was once also known to inhabit Australia's Northern Territory and New South Wales, however, in those regions they are for the most part considered to be extinct. Within these habitats, the inland taipan is a terrestrial diurnal species that is most active in the early morning. During this time they will bask in the sun or spend their time in search of food. Throughout the remainder of the day, they will call deep soil cracks or abandoned animal burrows home, where they for the most part rest until early morning comes and they'll venture out of their burrow again. While often being regarded as the most venomous snake in the world, the inland taipan is far less aggressive than their coastal cousins, and are for the most part deemed to be shy and reclusive snakes who will only attack when provoked. When it comes to hunting, the inland taipan is known to feed solely on small rodents, with their most favored prey item being the long-haired rat. In terms of hunting strategy, the inland taipan will corner its prey, trapping them in soil cracks or abandoned burrows where they proceed to bite them in succession. The venom acts fast, dispatching of prey quickly. However, an inland taipan will often latch onto prey with their jaws while venom takes effect, which can actually end up horribly for the snake, as the prey item then has a chance to retaliate and injure the taipan before ultimately succumbing to the venom. When prey is abundant, inland taipans will become sleek and fat, feeding frequently and building up their fat reserves so that when prey is scarce, they can depend on their fat reserves until prey numbers shoot back up. In terms of size, the inland taipan is a medium-sized snake ranging in length from 5.9 feet to 8.2 feet and weighing anywhere from 2.2 to 4.4 pounds. In terms of their coloration, the inland taipan varies in color, sometimes being dark tan and other times being a dark brownish green with various shades of dark brown and gray in between. The color of an inland taipan also depends on the season, being a darker hue in the winter and a lighter hue in the summer. This seasonal change is an environmental adaptation which allows them to better thermoregulate, enabling them to absorb more light in the colder winter months. It should also be mentioned that the fangs of the inland taipan are a bit smaller than their coastal cousins, being between 3.5 mm and 6.2 mm in length. As of now, the inland taipan is a species listed as of least concern by the IUCN, and there are currently no signs of a population decline, and like all Australian snakes, the inland taipan is protected by the law. Interestingly, Indigenous Australians have been aware of the inland taipan for the last 50,000 years, significantly longer than Western civilization, which only discovered the snake in 1879. Indigenous Australians know the inland taipan as the inland taipan is also known as the fierce snake, a name given to them not for their temperament but rather their notoriously potent venom. We know that the inland taipan is the most venomous snake in the world based on median lethal dose testing done on mice. The inland taipan produces far less venom than its cousin, the coastal taipan, yet the venom of an inland taipan is nearly 4 times as toxic. A single bite from an inland taipan contains enough venom to kill roughly 100 fully grown men and enough to kill 250,000 mice. One thing that makes the venom of an inland taipan so dangerous to us is that it is specially designed to kill warm-blooded creatures, as the preferred prey of an inland taipan is mammals, and if you didn't already know, we happen to be mammals. The inland taipan also has a nearly 100% envenomation rate, meaning that they inject venom with nearly every single bite, and the fact that they are fast, agile, and oftentimes bite more than once at a time only make them ever the more dangerous. The neurotoxin contained in their venom is also the most potent neurotoxin ever discovered. The venom as a whole has the capability to affect nearly every part of the body, from the major organ systems, muscles, and vascular system. The venom also contains an enzyme that increases the rate of absorption of the venom throughout the entire body. The venom leads to all the typical neurotoxin symptoms: nausea, dizziness, vomiting, paralysis, and eventually death. Thankfully, the overall docile nature and remoteness of the inland taipan makes bites on people a far from common occurrence. When bites do occur, they happen most often to snake handlers and keepers, who are for obvious reasons the people most at risk of such a thing happening. Surprisingly, there are no recorded fatalities attributed to an inland taipan snake bite, as most people were successfully treated with antivenom. Like in the case of John Robinson, a reptile keeper who was bit by his inland taipan while cleaning its enclosure went without antivenom treatment and still managed to survive the attack but sustained severe and permanent heart and muscle damage. Despite the fact that a fatality from inland taipan bite has never been recorded, this does not mean that this snake should be taken lightly, as it is still the most venomous snake in the world, and bite victims, even with the administration of antivenom, take weeks to recover and are left with permanent bodily damage. And finally, the last of the most venomous snakes we will be talking about today is dubois' sea snake. Dubois' sea snake are a species of sea snake that is deemed to be the most venomous species of sea snake in the entire world. Typically found at depths of 9 to 12 feet and as deep as 250 feet within the coral coastal regions surrounding Papua New Guinea, New Caledonia, Northern Australia, Dubois' sea snake has a rather vast range that encompasses a decent portion of Oceania's coasts. Dubois' sea snake reach lengths of anywhere from 2.5 to 4.5 feet. The appearance of these snakes varies, with coloration often varying slightly from one snake to the next. The sides and bellies of Dubois' sea snake range in color from white to beige and even dark brown in coloration. The top side of their body has a dark V-shaped pattern, with dark brownish black scales dropping along the sides, giving the snake a truly distinct appearance. Dubois' sea snake have a small but wide head and a slender neck. The rest of their body is mostly one consistent size, with the exception of their tail, which is very paddle-like and aids them in propelling themselves through the water. These snakes primarily feed on reef fish and eels. Like most other sea snakes, Dubois' sea snakes are some of the only truly aquatic reptiles in the entire world, as they lack the need to ever venture onto land, as they are ovoviviparous, meaning that they give live birth to young at sea, in turn avoiding having to go on shore to lay their eggs altogether. Dubois' sea snakes can hold their breath for anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 hours at a time underwater before they have to resurface for air. Additionally, Dubois' sea snakes possess the ability to carry out cutaneous respiration, whereby oxygen diffuses from seawater across the snake's skin into their blood, allowing them to remain alert while underwater and stay under for longer periods of time. Bites from these snakes aren't very common, but the people most at risk of being bitten by these snakes are people who dive within the areas inhabited by them, and fishermen who may come in contact with Dubois' sea snakes after hauling them in with their nets. The venom of the dubois sea snake is neurotoxic and potentially fatal if not treated quickly. In some instances, people who have been bitten by a dubois sea snake do not even realize that they have been bitten, with the reason for this being that the fangs of a dubois sea snake are incredibly small, being less than 2 millimeters in length, and therefore causing no pain when bites are inflicted. In most instances, dubois sea snakes won't bother attacking anyone. However, they are known to be rather irritable and likely will attack if provoked. Like with the venom of other snakes, bite victims will feel extreme fatigue, nausea, and muscle weakness, which, if left untreated, will eventually worsen into paralysis and then death. I must admit, no matter how hard I looked, I could not find much information regarding reported cases of a dubois sea snake biting someone, so bites are few and far between. And when people are actually bitten, most seem to recover just fine, as they are all wise enough to seek immediate medical attention and be injected with the necessary anti-venom, effectively saving their lives. Well everyone, that concludes the video for today. I genuinely hope that all of you enjoyed. If you would like to see more content like this moving forward, I please encourage you to like and subscribe, and leave any feedback you have for me down in the comment section below. I know it has been quite some time since my last upload, but I can assure you I will be uploading more frequently now. Anyways guys, until next time.